We briefly interrupt your programming right now for some breaking news happening out of the Fountain City just in the last hour, just before 2 p.m. Eastern time. We understand there was a shooting on Hilton Avenue. We have a crew on the scene right now. We have heard that a Columbus police officer was shot there and rushed to the emergency room at Midtown Medical Center in Columbus. We are not sure of that police officer's condition at this time, but we do understand firefighters, SWAT team, and at least 20 police cars are at Hilton Avenue. And a helicopter is circling that area. They've really doubled in the last half hour the number of police that are there. She's also contacted the GBI and the Muskogee County Sheriff to find out more information. But again, as you might expect, they're very tight-lipped at this time because this is an ongoing investigation, something that has just happened. An officer-involved shooting, this time the officer being shot, and we hope that he or she obviously is okay. Once again, we will have updates for you on our website, WTVM.com, our Facebook page. Georgia did a Facebook Live just about 10 minutes ago. And also on our free mobile app, you can get updates, text alerts about everything that's going on. And we will have more updates for you as well on WTVM at 5:30, and 6 p.m. tonight. You can see as our videographer zooms in, there are plenty of ambulances there, fire trucks, police officers just lined up. It looks like, obviously a huge scene there, and a lot of police, some I would imagine further on the distance because we're being held back from the scene where it's actually happened, where that house is, that they would be barricading themselves kind of behind some vehicles, the SWAT team ready to move in, and we will get updates as soon as we can. We haven't heard anything, any shots fired or any kind of explosions or anything like that at this point, but we hope that everybody is staying safe. And Georgia Elise joins us now live to hopefully give us an update or more information. Georgia, have you learned anything else about what's happening there, I guess, in the last hour after this Columbus police officer was shot?
Jason, there's a helicopter that is circulating the neighborhood, and a lot of neighbors are starting to congregate. They're very fearful about what's going on in their neighborhood. This is a very quiet neighborhood here on Hilton Avenue for the most part. So to have this much action happening, is definitely something that, they don't really see often.
And once again, SWAT is on scene. Columbus police are on scene, at least 20 to 30 or maybe even more cars at this point. They've just continued to swarm that area on Hilton. And firefighters are on the scene as well, along with ambulances. And this man, we're not sure his name or his motive, but he is at the scene now and has barricaded himself inside a home. We're trying to get information as soon as we can to see if perhaps he's considered armed and dangerous, but we assume this is connected in some way. The standoff with this man in the house barricaded himself, between that and the officer being shot just about an hour ago, just before 2 o'clock Eastern time. You're taking a look now at the area we're talking about on Hilton. And this is in the Columbus area. If, again, maybe you're not familiar with this area, if you live in Phoenix City or Auburn or Opelika. But again, this is something that we can all relate to and understand that this is something we can all be concerned about, a police officer being shot in the Columbus area. And according to the Muskogee County School District, we're just being told right now, Clubview Elementary and Richards Middle Schools were put on what they call secure alert during this incident on Hilton Avenue. That secure alert, if you don't know what that means, it means that everyone has to show their ID when they enter either one of those schools. However, their school was not put on lockdown. So again, it's just after 3 o'clock Eastern time right now, so some of these kids may be just getting out of school soon. Every effort, according to the Muskogee County School District, is being taken to make sure the kids are safe when a secure alert like this is activated. This is simply for their precautions and maybe to give peace of mind to parents because these schools are near that area. We're going to take a live picture now, live video from Midtown Medical Center in downtown Columbus, where we understand that Columbus police officer was rushed to the ER there and probably just about an hour ago, where after he or she was shot there at the scene at Hilton Avenue, where we just had a live picture with Georgia Elise. We are trying to get more information about the condition of that officer who was shot. You see on the right of your screen where that happened, where there's plenty of ambulances, fire trucks, SWAT team, a swarm of police cars there involved in what they're still calling a dangerous situation there on Hilton Avenue. And this is also affecting some schools schools, a couple schools that's near that area. As you can imagine, the middle school, in fact, it still hasn't gotten out yet, about 20, 30 minutes from now. And we do have our Rosalind Giles that's on the phone, and we understand she is headed towards this scene right now where the shooting of the Columbus police officer happened, and also where the standoff, what we understand, is happening as we speak. And Rosalind's headed there in traffic and talking more about the schools. Tell us more, Rosalind, that you know about the schools and how I'm sure parents are worried about their kids that are at Richards Middle School and also Clubview Elementary.
Most definitely, Jason. As I was leaving the station trying to get towards the scene on Hilton Avenue, as you said, there are two schools that are very near the scene. Those are Clubview Elementary and Richards Elementary School. But I can tell you the traffic is horrendous. When I got to Hilton Avenue, I could not believe my eyes as I saw more than a dozen police officer cars with their blue lights flashing. They are blocking the street. Traffic cannot approach Camille Drive right now onto Hilton. You have to detour and go to Cherokee to enter onto Hilton Avenue. And once you get to Hilton Avenue, the scene is just like a movie scene. It's unreal. There are a few people standing at the corners, and as I did take that detour, I came on around to the schools. I understand, according to the Muskogee County School District, that Clubview Elementary School has been released on their regular time at 2:30 today, but they were on secure alert, as well as Richards Middle School, which is right next door to Clubview Elementary School. Secure alert means that a school is taking all precautions to make sure that the students are safe. They are not on lockdown, but everyone who enters that school has to show ID to make sure that they know who they're letting in and who they are letting out. Now, Clubview will be getting out in about 30 minutes from now. They release around 4 o'clock every day, but I understand that they are not affected anything otherwise than what's going on at the scene right now. But this is a horrible situation. The situation is very intense.
We're going to go back out now live to Newsletter 9's Georgia Lease with more from the scene. Georgia, have we learned anything else about what's happening there as we speak? And we saw a few police officers kind of going towards the scene, really geared up.
Jason, that's correct. Not as much movement as when we first arrived at about 2 o'clock this afternoon. When we first got here, there was a lot of officers, even in unidentified vehicles that were coming onto the scene. Now it seems that they've been here on the scene for probably the last 45 minutes, trying to investigate what's happening at 3312 Hilton Avenue. A source to WTVM did confirm an officer was shot. He or she was taken to Midtown Medical Center, and then it's speculated that a suspect is inside of that home there on Hilton Avenue. We are told that a Columbus police helicopter is circulating the area. We've seen it go around maybe for the last 30 minutes, and officer here on ground did confirm that it's owned by the Columbus Police Department. They're using it just to keep an aerial view of what's happening here on Hilton Avenue. The street has been blocked off from Lookout to Edgewood, and traffic is being rerouted. A lot of neighbors have started to come out, and, you know, of course, they're asking a lot of questions, asking the media, asking law enforcement what's going on here in their neighborhood, which is really quiet. You have to think that this house is actually located right across the street from the country club, you know, the golf course here on Hilton Avenue. So normally what is a quiet neighborhood has now just completely been disrupted. So we are in communications with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, the Columbus Police Department, and the Muskogee County Sheriff's Office, working to get more information, more details about what happened, who the officer was that was shot, and what the circumstances were. But at this time, they're just very tight-lipped because the investigation is still underway. Since I've been here, I have seen a stretcher was taken out of the ambulance. We don't know where that stretcher was taken or who it's being provided to, but we are working to get more information to that, as well as what happened to the officer and the severity of his injuries. Jason?
Well, Georgia, can you tell us a little bit more about the, I know you told us since you've been there, the number of Columbus police officers and all those vehicles you see behind you. There's just a lineup of vehicles. They've continued to arrive here at the scene. Have you seen even more arriving just in the last perhaps 15 minutes?
In the last 15 minutes, the movement here has not been as heavy as when we first got here. I mean, there are dozens of unmarked cars and Columbus Police Squad cars, as well as EMS and fire trucks and even SWAT vehicles here on the scene. So it seems that at this time, a lot of the resources that are here on scene are more focusing towards the home. We haven't really seen new cars come in within the last 15 minutes.
All right, thank you very much, Georgia. Live from the scene there on Hilton Avenue, where, again, a Columbus police officer, we understand, was shot just about an hour and a half ago. As we continue to follow this breaking news, that officer taken to Midtown Medical Center, where we are trying to find out that officer's condition. We do not know at this time, but we are trying to work to get that information. As you can see behind Georgia, there was so many firefighters, SWAT, and police officers there. And you're looking at on your screen now a map, two different kinds of maps of where this area we're talking about is. This is on Hilton Avenue, which is just across the street, as she was saying, from the Country Club of Columbus. This is also near Lake Bottom Park, not too far from Columbus High School.
There hasn't been much movement within the last 20 to 25 minutes. When I first arrived around 2 o'clock this afternoon, there was still a lot of vehicles that were coming in to assist. But for the last 25 minutes, no new vehicles have come in, just the vehicles that are here. And there are dozens are on the scene. They're working, trying to gather information. There's even a helicopter. It's owned by the Columbus Police Department that is circulating the area. We imagine that they're trying to get an aerial view. As you said, Jason, that there are some schools here within the area that have been advised to, stay on lockdown. I know that we have a reporter there that has more information when it comes to the schools. So be sure to check our website for that specific information. But if you normally come into this area around this time, police are asking you to please take another route. It's not safe. If you normally travel down Hilton Avenue, you will be rerouted. A lot of people we've seen stop, try to take pictures. A lot of neighbors coming out of their homes. They're not used to this type of activity in this neighborhood. It's normally very quiet and what they call very safe. So to see something like this happen here in this neighborhood is very unusual. Jason?
All right, thank you very much, Georgia. And can you tell us a little bit more about what's happening in terms of that helicopter? Does it keep circling around that area? Is it staying in one particular area? And any idea? I guess I assume they're getting a bird's eye view of the active scene there.
Jason, we were all very surprised when we heard the helicopter. You know, it's very loud to have a helicopter flying over you. I'm not sure if you can hear it now, but it's still in the area. And for the last 45 minutes, it has just been circulating, going in circles, round and around in this general area. We don't know if that suspect is still inside the home, or maybe the SWAT team went inside and the suspect's not there. So I imagine that Columbus police want to keep a view overhead to make sure that if, say, that person they're looking for left out on foot, that they would be able to monitor that. But none of that is confirmed at this time, Jason. Information is just so limited. The Columbus Police Department does not want to jeopardize their investigation, so they're being very tight-lipped about what exactly is going on here at Hilton Avenue. We do know that an officer was shot. We do know that that officer was transported to Midtown Medical Center for their injuries, and beyond that, everything else we're still working to confirm.
All right, thank you very much, Georgia Elise, live there from the scene that's still active there on Hilton Avenue in Midtown Columbus.
And you can see all of the traffic in the area. As Georgia mentioned, traffic very heavy around Hilton Avenue. This is at Hilton and Outlook, which is right across from the Country Club of Columbus, or at least in that area. Again, we know that one officer has been shot, transported to the hospital. Details on the officer's condition unknown at this time. We believe our understanding is that someone is barricaded in the house there on Hilton Avenue.
Yes, there's been SWAT teams that arrived on the scene. You see a live look now again from Hilton Avenue, which is in this area, Midtown Columbus, where you're asked to stay away from that area. Don't get in the police officer's way. They've lined up all the swarm of police cars and ambulances, fire trucks, SWAT. We've seen FBI agents walking up there to the scene, which we assume there may be a standoff involved with this man that's barricaded himself in the house. And from what we understand, there is a connection between this man barricaded himself in the house and this officer that was shot just before 2 2 o'clock Eastern time today.
And there is a helicopter searching in the area. If you are driving in the area right now, Macon Road, Hilton Avenue, you may see that. You may see all of this activity here. Not sure what the helicopter is searching for. We don't know any more details at this point about suspects or suspects. You know, we do know that just last night there was a memorial for officers who were shot or injured or killed in the line of duty, and since the 1800s there's only been 27 officers in the Columbus area who have been killed in the line of duty. Again, we don't know this officer's condition. We do know the officer was injured and transported to the hospital this afternoon.
And we asked Georgia earlier about if any officers looked emotional or visibly shaken, but she says they were simply just focused on their job and getting to that scene and getting beyond maybe where our cameras can see.